Good morning, everybody. We have an increased, once again, probability of severe weather from the SPC. They went ahead and upgraded our severe risk to an enhanced risk for the extreme southeastern part of the state. If you recall, last night, our briefing that we did, we mentioned there was an increased threat between the Flint to Coldwater area. And that's basically what just happened with the SPC overnight. So they introduced a level 3 of 5 severe risk. And this is going to be for hail and wind, both 30% risks, which are pretty significant severe risks today. So in that orange area you see there from Detroit, Macomb County, all the way down to, we'll say, Hillsdale, and then east to Lake Erie, we do have this enhanced risk that is now in place. That's going to be, again, for severe wind and hail. We can go ahead and look at the hail probabilities, and it's going to be a hatched area, which means that they are concerned for significant hail, which could be over the size of quarters, closer to golf balls or ping pong ball size. So with that being said, we do have that heightened risk of hail, but also we do have the heightened risk of wind as well. If we go and switch over to our wind probability, you're going to see that red area again in far southeastern Michigan. That's where they're most concerned for the wind. As far as tornadoes, they have extended the probabilities for tornadoes to the west, encompassing most of central and eastern lower Michigan in a 2%, so a low-end tornado risk. So we do agree with that as well here at MSC. But overall, the risk today has increased with the overnight models kind of uptrending in their wind shear and also their instability. And it looks like we're not going to be affected by any morning type of storms to overturn the atmosphere. At my house here in Southeast Michigan, it is nothing but blue sky here with no storms on the horizon. So we do have instability going to start building here in the next few hours. So with that being said, storms will have a juiced atmosphere to go nuts in, so to speak. So taking a peek at some of these models, we do have the latest HRRR model, which we're going to take a peek here. We're going to go ahead and run this through the afternoon here. Again, we do have storms expected in northern Michigan right now over by Traverse City. Those are just coming on the shore towards the Gaylord area, Cadillac area. We're not sure if those will go severe, but this model tends to think that they will, and it's definitely possible. So as the afternoon goes on, that pushes eastward. More development happens on the south side of that. And then we see cells popping up by Battle Creek there, Concha, Coldwater, and then that pushes eastward into the southeast Michigan area, kind of growing upscale and also having individual cells there within that line. And by 5, 6 o'clock, it pushes out of the state with just some leftover showers and storms behind it. So a pretty quick hitting line there on this model, but we think it's going to be a little bit more intense than what that model is showing. Again, the HRRR model lately has not been the most accurate. So we're going to go off the NAM 3 model. So we're going to be looking at this model. We're going to see this come in, and it's going to form this line over the Grand Rapids metro area, all the way down through the Kalamazoo area, Battle Creek, Coldwater, Lansing, Flint. That's going to push to the east. So what a blend of these models basically says we're going to have a line of storms that's going to form somewhere on the western part of Michigan, probably near the, we'll go ahead and say anywhere from Saginaw all the way through Grand Rapids, through Kalamazoo, back down to Berrien County. We're going to expect a widespread line to develop and then push east. So everybody in the lower peninsula of Michigan today is under a severe risk one way or another. The highest threat is going to be when it finally congeals into a full line. When that happens, we do expect that to be east of Lansing. So Flint, Ann Arbor, Detroit, Novi, Adrian, Monroe County, Hillsdale, Jackson. Those areas in particular, we need to pay special attention to today, because as that complex grows upscale into a line, your wind threat increases and also your hail threat increases. But individually, when these storms start to fire up, maybe around the Lansing area, right around the Lansing area, We do expect there to be a isolated tornado risk just because there is enough wind shear today. Looking at the morning models and the real-time data, there is enough wind shear coming in that we may actually get a isolated tornado or two possible, and that's going to be true especially from Flint to Lansing down to Coldwater. So in that corridor, we do have, again, the increased risk for hail and wind to the east of there, but that's where we think the best tornadic threat is going to set up. Is going to be somewhere between Lansing, Flint, and Coldwater, and maybe a little bit further east as well, just depending on if storms grow upscale or stay isolated. If they stay isolated, the tornado threat will increase with these storms. So with that being said, timing today could be as early as 1 o'clock. And if you're in northern Michigan right now, we do have that cluster of storms currently working onshore. It's hitting just the Manistee area, North Manistee up to Glen Arbor, heading toward Traverse City. That's current live. So there is actually a new severe thunderstorm warning just got issued up there for, I'll go ahead and list the county here. So those storms are already going severe up in the northern part of the state. That's going to be for Benzie, Manistee, and Leelanau County until 10:30. That's going to be for wind and hail. So that's already going severe in northern Michigan. So it just pays testament to the atmosphere we have in place today. So with that being said, I know we have quite a few people on here, a lot of questions coming in. So again, I'll just go ahead and reiterate. So if you are in Metro Detroit, I'll list some areas here. Macomb County, I know we have a lot of people from there. Clinton Township, Warren, Novi, Livonia, Taylor, Monroe County, Lambertville, all the way over to Tecumseh, Ann Arbor, Novi, South Lyon, Chelsea, Fenton, Flint, Lapeer, Lansing, Saginaw, Cass City, Speaker, Burnside, Goodland, Harbor Beach, Port Sanilac, Caseville, all the way up through the thumb, all the way through Metro Detroit to Lansing down to Coldwater. If you're in Branch County, St. Joseph County, Hillsdale, Lenawee, Monroe, Washtenaw, Wayne, Jackson, Oakland, Livingston, Macomb, you are all under a severe threat and a heightened severe threat for large hail, potentially the size of ping pong ball size, as well as damaging winds and tornadoes today. I don't want to sit here and answer specific locations. We have so many people asking, so we're going to break this down. If you are west of Lansing, so if you are Battle Creek, if you are Kalamazoo, if you are Grand Rapids, if you are Ionia County, or you Hastings, Charlotte, Union City, Colon, Three Rivers, you're in a lower severe threat, but you also do have that risk for wind and hail. It's just a little bit lower than what you have to further east of you. Jackson, you are further east, so you would be included in the heightened threat for hail and wind with isolated tornadoes. So I have some questions here. Washtenaw County, you are included in the heightened risk, the highest risk, should I say, for wind and hail. I have so many comments in here, guys. I cannot get to you all, but I just tried to blanket you guys. Timing on this, yeah, as early as 1 o'clock in the west, and I say Monroe County, I'd say 4 to 5, potentially closer to 6 for Metro Detroit area, including Monroe County, Lenawee, Washtenaw, Wayne. That'd be closer to probably the 5, 6 o'clock time frame. Lapeer County, probably closer to 6. If you guys haven't already, drop a like on this. We have 250 here watching with only 40 likes. Let's get that. Let's get those likes up. That would help us out a lot. Bay City, closer to 4, 5 o'clock. I'll go ahead and switch back over here to the SPC screen so you guys can see what the SPC screen is saying. And again, they mentioned a risk for significant hail as well as wind gusts. And then the isolated tornado threat is still there. It's just the wind shear isn't very well oriented for a major tornado outbreak. If we had more surface winds out of the southeast, we may see a heightened tornado threat. But as of right now, it does not appear to be that way. So that's good news for this setup because it looked pretty concerning a few days ago. Oakland County time frame, right around the 5, 6 o'clock time frame. Some models bring it earlier. Some models kind of wait until like 6 or 7. But I think right around the 5 o'clock time frame would be really good for Oakland County. It'd be a good guess. This line is expected to hit Monroe and Newport. Yeah, we do expect a widespread line. Anywhere up from Flint all the way through, we'll say Saginaw. We'll go ahead and say Saginaw all the way back toward Coldwater. We do expect anywhere east of there to be impacted by this line. And again, they heightened severe threat. SPC went ahead and issued an enhanced risk, which is level 3 of 5. So grabs your attention for sure. And then a slight risk is pretty much in place for the entire lower peninsula. And then for the very tip top of Michigan, a marginal risk is now in place. What I have for breakfast, I have not ate yet. Jennifer, we only have 2 people, I believe, who are going to be active today. So we're down 3 or 4 people, unfortunately. But I do believe we still have a live stream scheduled for later on. I think it's going to be with Joel. Jackson County, right around 4 or 5 o'clock. Wayne County, right around the 5, 6 o'clock time frame. We do expect power outages with this storm, especially in southeastern lower Michigan, so Metro Detroit area especially. DTE isn't really reliable over there. I'll tell you that right now. But with that squall line pushing with wind and hail, it's definitely going to be a likely scenario. We're going to have probably quite a few power outages today. Can we expect the same setup in Sanilac County? So it's not the same setup, but this one definitely has more potential for wind and hail than the last one did. So just pay attention. Although I think the tornado threat overall up there today is low, it is still not 0. So all hazards are possible, but it's mainly going to be wind and hail for you guys up there today. What's up, Nick? Coldwater, we're looking more so around the 3 to 4 o'clock time frame, a little bit sooner. Further west you are, the sooner it's going to hit you. Midland County, right around the 4 o'clock time frame. Although storms may actually develop right over you or to your south, I'm not really sure where they're going to fire up, so it may miss you to the south, but that'd be a good time frame right around 3 to 4 o'clock up there for Midland. Macomb County timing is going to be right around the 5 to 6 o'clock time frame. All hazards are possible in Metro Detroit. Tornado threat is going to be highest basically in the southern and central portions of lower Michigan, although we think the highest tornado threat is going to be right along the US 23 corridor between Flint, Lansing, and Coldwater and points eastward. So like Hillsdale County, Lenawee, Washtenaw, I'll say Jackson County as well, Lansing up to Flint, over toward Macomb County, and then south to Monroe, Washtenaw, Wayne, Lenawee. So that particular area, we do expect the highest tornado threat, but the SPC went ahead and issued the 2% risk for a large portion of the lower peninsula. I'll go ahead and pull that up right now so you guys can see it. I clicked the wrong one. Give me a second. I'll go ahead and pull it up. Here is your tornado risk for today, highlighted in green. They might add a small 5% in there somewhere, but I don't really think that's going to be necessary unless we do have an increase of low-level wind shear. Calhoun County, right around the 4 to 5 o'clock time. Actually, I'd say Calhoun County be 3 to 4 just because you're further west. So 3 to 4 for you for Calhoun County. Livingston, closer to 5 to 6. Biggest threat for St. Clair is going to be hail and wind. Although we can't rule out tornadoes, but the hail and wind is going to be the primary concern. Owasso area, right around the, go ahead and say 3 to 4 o'clock time frame. Wind and hail are going to be your main threats, as well as isolated tornadoes. Hail could be as big as 2 inches in diameter. The SPC has highlighted southeast Michigan, especially in a significant hail, what we call a hatched area. Basically says we're going to have to watch this area closely for hail larger than a quarter size, closer to 2 inches in diameter. Although there was a mention, I believe, in the outlook this morning that we could see isolated instances up to tennis balls. So I have to watch that very closely, although I think the majority of it will stay right around the golf ball size. tornadoes tend to miss Wayne County. Could this be different? I'm in Canton. Well, tornadoes really don't pick and choose where they go. I actually have intercepted a few tornadic storms in Wayne County, so they don't always go around Wayne County. Just be alert if you're in the green area today, which does include Wayne County. A lot of people say, oh, it always misses this area, misses that area. Well, I can also tell you plenty of times where it didn't miss. So Mason, right around the 4-5 o'clock time frames. And wind and hail are your main threats. Tornadoes are possible, but it's the lower threat today. Looking like I'm just kind of reading back through the SPC outlook here and see if I could pick out some wording to spit out here. It just says same corridor in southern Michigan and northern parts of Indiana, Ohio, most likely to see the greatest coverage of storms, particularly with eastern extent. Storm mergers will occur and grow upscale by late afternoon, early evening with increased damaging wind potential. Some tornado risk will also exist. And that's from the professionals out of Oklahoma from the SPC. Yeah, I always avoid chasing Wayne County as much as possible, but I'll chase it. I know it pretty well. Hillsdale County, Stephanie, you're looking at about 4 to 5 o'clock. All hazards are possible, but mainly in the form of wind and hail, although we can't rule out a spin-up tornado today. Three Rivers, right around the 2 to 3 o'clock time frame. You're going to be a little bit sooner just because you're further west. Schoolcraft and Three Rivers. Okay, Jackie, you were talking right around the 2 to 3 o'clock time frame. Storms will probably fire right around your area, so there's a chance they could pop up to your guys' east. It's just going to be kind of like a play-by-ear type of day. Any pop-ups that happen, any storm today in the lower peninsula of Michigan will be capable of severe weather, although the main squall line we expect will form somewhere between Kalamazoo up towards Saginaw. So it's going to be kind of like a throwing a dart there, blindfolded, to kind of see where. So it could be east of you, but it also may not be east of you. We'll have to play that by ear, but if it does impact you, it'll be pretty early on in the afternoon, right around 2 to 3. Hillsdale County, yeah, right around the 4 o'clock time frame. Storms are expected to move east and a little bit south, so east-southeast at right around the 35 to 45 mile per hour zone. If storms can merger and grow upscale, it could go up to 50 or 60 miles per hour. But right now, we do expect those storms to stay right around the 35 to 45 mile per hour movement to the east-southeast. Macomb County tonight, 6 to 9. So that's right about the time we're going to expect the impacts in Macomb County. Although once this line pushes through, you should be clear behind it. So 8 to 9 might be a good time, but right around 6 is cutting it close there, Christina. So southern Tuscola, Grand Blanc, Carlton, Millington, Monroe County, all those people I just mentioned, you are in a higher risk today for tornadoes, for damaging winds, and also significant hail up to 2 inches in diameter. Timing for you guys is going to be early on in the afternoon to the west, and then for the eastern part of the state, right around the 4 to 7 o'clock time frame. So 4 o'clock if you live, say, in Flint, if you live closer to Hillsdale or Jackson, we're talking 4. If you're live in Metro Detroit, you're talking closer to 5, 6 o'clock. Up in the thumb, we're talking closer to 5 to 6 as well, especially in the eastern part of the thumb by the lake there. Yes, please do, Christina. Our page is always open for pictures of storms or damage reports. We do appreciate that coming in from you guys. If you do have any reports for severe weather or any really cool pictures or videos, you feel free to send those in to us. We'll have a forecast posted on our page here in the next hour or so for today. So watch for that as well. Nothing really changed with the forecast. Just going to add in northern Michigan to the severe threat and mention the possibility of significant hail. So after the QLCS squall line does move through, there is some possibility for more development behind that line, possibly severe, but because the atmosphere might be turned over, which means it sucked the instability out of the atmosphere, we don't expect there to be severe storms behind that, but it's possible. We do expect there to be watches today, Melissa. Severe thunderstorm watches are very likely for the large hail threat, I would say, and then the wind threat. I don't think we're going to see a tornado watch today just because the overall tornadic threat seems to be pretty low today. Although if we get any outflow boundary interaction or cell mergers, that tornado threat will increase. So when two cells combine, watch for any tornadic threat from those. But overall, the wind shear to get storms rotating by themselves really just doesn't spark my interest today. It's mainly going to be a hail and wind threat. Western side of the state, early on in the afternoon, probably closer to 1 to 3. Talking wind and hail for your threats over there. Although we can't rule out tornadoes, it seems more likely if there's going to be a tornado today, it's going to be on the eastern part of the state. Mary? Anita, I do not know the Torcon values for Detroit. I would say today would be more like a 3-day for Torcon. I wouldn't say anything higher than that, 2 to 3, if I had to throw out my guess for it. But I do not know the official Torcon from the Weather Channel. Discrete cells are possible, especially early on in the afternoon when storms first start firing up. And that is when the tornado threat will be at its highest, we think. So that's going to be probably closer to the Lansing area, right around that area. But yeah, once they grow upscale, it's going to be a dominant wind and hail threat with potential for spin-up tornadoes along the leading edge of that line, but we'll have to watch that closely. Yes, there are big storms up by Elk Rapids in northern Michigan right now. There's actually a severe thunderstorm warning up there. If you live in Pleasanton, Weldon, Thompsonville, Lake Ann, Empire, Glen Arbor, you do have that severe warning until 10:30, and that's going to be for wind and hail. You have a chaser up there. What is his name? I never heard of that guy. You have a guy right in the middle of that, so I have to check and see what he's reporting up there. Lenawee County, 5, 6 o'clock. All hazards are possible. Clinton Township, right around the 6 o'clock time frame. It could be a little bit sooner than that, depending on how quickly the storms move, or it could be a little bit later than that if they move slower. We do expect there to be impacts for everybody in southeast Michigan today, from the thumb all the way down to the border to Ohio and Indiana. Jasmine, a rough time for Dundee would be right around the 5 to 6 o'clock time frame. Coldwater, right around the 4 to 5 o'clock time frame. Calhoun County, right around the 3 to 4 o'clock time frame. All hazards are possible. It's going to depend, Doug. We do expect there to be impacts for Calhoun County. These models are kind of hinting at the line developing. One develops over Kalamazoo and pushes east towards you, and one develops basically right over you and pushes east. So it's going to be kind of like a up in the air. It could form to your west and impact you, or it could form over you or to your east. It's just going to depend on where the storms fire up today. But anywhere east, I'd say a Battle Creek is a pretty sure bet that we could get, that you will get some type of storm. Lansing, we're talking probably 4 to 5 o'clock. All hazards are possible. See, a lot of people asking about my background in the weather. I'm going to repeat that, I am not a degreed meteorologist. I have been interested in chasing storms for over 10 years. So I do have that experience. I do have a lot of online meteorology experience, but I do not have an official degree for you guys asking. Livingston County timing, we are talking right around the 5, 6 o'clock time frame. Sturgis, right around the, we'll say 3 o'clock time frame. Again, kind of an up in the air point with over there further west, just because we don't really know where that squall line is going to form. Although any storm that could pop up aside from the squall line will have severe potential today. The QLCS, the overall pattern for the QLCS doesn't really support embedded supercells, although they're definitely possible. I would be more concerned for the I'd be more concerned for the wind threat with the QLCS than a tornado threat. But that's just me. I don't see there being semi-discrete supercells within that line. I think it's going to be mostly like a gusty wind type of threat. All right, guys, slowing down here in chat. So again, recapping really quickly, we do have a enhanced risk of severe weather in Southeast Michigan. The entire Lower Peninsula is in a slight risk around that enhanced risk. We're going to be talking hail up to 2 inches in diameter, so significant hail possible. Wind gust up to 65, 70 mile per hour possible. Isolated tornadoes cannot be ruled out across most of the Lower Peninsula, but especially in southeastern Michigan. So again, all hazards are possible today, but mainly going to present itself in the form of hail and wind. So again, timing on this, if you're in the western part of the state, between 1, 3. If you're in the central part, 4 to 5. Eastern part, 5 to 6. It's going to depend on exactly how fast storms grow upscale into a line and how fast they push forward. So it could be a little bit slower than we expect, or it could be a little bit faster than we expect. So rough timing, 1 to 3 in the west, and then it should clear the state by around 7 to 8 o'clock today. Hail is very likely today. Kyle, we do plan to go live. Again, we're going to be short-staffed today. We do have at least 2 chasers out. We have Joel and Chandler going to be out. I think Joel is going to be live from the field. I'm not sure where he's targeting. And I believe Chandler's coming out as well. So we have to kind of play that by ear. But for now, we just have two chasers who are scheduled to go live. And the rest of us are stuck at work or with our families. All righty. So seeing a few more questions. Cadillac area, you're a little bit too far north there, but right now you do have storms pushing in from your west, which could potentially go severe. So pay attention the next hour or so for those storms pushing in from your west up there in Cadillac. Hail and wind are your threats up there with that line. There's no tornado threat up there right now. Time frame, Allen, as early as noon for you guys way over there on Allegan in Allegan County. This could be a pop-up storm coming up between noon and 1 o'clock. And I think that main squall line pushes off to your east. But you do have potential for some pop-up storms over there in Allegan. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and hop off here. I got to do some stuff around the house, and I'll pay attention. I'll get a forecast up for you guys on the page here in the next hour or so. And again, all hazards are possible today in lower Michigan, especially in southeast parts of the state, from Flint to Metro Detroit, Lansing, down to Coldwater, Hillsdale, Lenawee, Monroe, Wayne, Washtenaw counties. You guys are all in the severe threat, including the potential for tornadoes, significant hail, and wind gusts. All right, guys, we will go live later on. I believe we're going to go live later on. Don't quote me on that. Like I said, we do have Joel and Chandler going to be chasing. So we'll have to see what they plan to do. But otherwise, we will have warnings posted to our page as well as updates on any particular storm. So just pay attention to our page and stay safe, guys. Thank you guys for watching.